I got
Say you were muting.
Oh,
We're live.
don't say that. You're supposed to have the welcome screen up. We didn't start yet.
Wait a minute.
I got
Say you were muting.
you.
We're live.
Don't say that. You're supposed to have the welcome screen up. We didn't start yet.
Little recording action.
Echo, echo, echo. I got
Say you were muting. We're live. Something else get.
good.
Are you
I
okay?
forgot to lock it. I'm sorry. You're trained.
I guess we're in the middle of the SNL skit.
Yes.
You know what?
Like Monday it was good and then today.
All right. Oh, see, I can push it with this thing. Yes, cool. Oh,
Are you in?
huh?
Are you in your lap?
Yeah, I'm getting good at this. Wrong Chromebooks. We're on Chromebooks now. That's it.
We'll
Who you
start.
talking to? No paper.
I guess, Terry.
That works. Challenge.
All right, we got a quorum. So let's call the meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amy, roll call.
Present, we have Wayne Roner, Jason Goldstrand, and Keith Carcutt.
Approval of agenda notes. Motion to approve the minutes from the October 2nd, 2024 meeting, along with the agenda for November 6th, 2024. With members of the committee reserving the right to add to the agenda and take further action in the best interest of the district.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Announcements by the committee. The next property and facilities meeting is to be determined. Reorganization will be Monday the 2nd. Well, most likely we will have Wednesday, December 4th as our next property and facilities meeting, and we'll clarify that shortly. Items requiring action. JTL auditorium lighting upgrades. We have a quote from Entertainment Services Group for $198,171.22. See the attachments. Daryl.
This quote is quoted on with all CoStar's items on their product list. As well as a prevailing wage rate to where we can put this way. This replaces all the auditorium lighting up there for the stage so we can do our shows at JTL. It's a long outdated system that's not working properly up there now. We need to do something.
And does it meet the specifications of the administration of the school?
I can answer that question for you.
Okay.
Ray and I have talked about this, Ray Lenhart, principal, and I have talked about this numerous times. We've had numerous quotes. Daryl and I have been there with Ray quite a bit, discussing the issues that we're having and what we need to make the system work. And we feel this quote covers everything that we need to make pretty much everything run, whether it's a board meeting, whether it's a spring production, fall play, choir concert, band concert, doesn't matter what it will be. This lighting should handle everything that anything that we've ever produced on the stage there.
And it's got those moving lights you were looking for.
That does
Changing lights?
include them, yes. And we've been told by the guy that had put the quote together that including the controller, the board that they've included has the controls to control them also. So I'm fine with it. It does basic things very, very well. If somebody is not up at the board, there will be a stage pocket where they can actually do set lighting for like a jazz band setting or a choir setting. You can simply go in, hit the button, turn it off when they're done. Everything's LED based. So
And I
go ahead,
know,
Keith.
I know one of the things we discussed was linking it to the house lighting and such. Will the board be linked to the house lighting?
It will be connected. I'll let Daryl answer some of those questions because I know that's kind of a sort of an in-house / them job that's happening. I know he has a better understanding of how that's going to actually happen.
Yeah, the issue with the house lighting there, we think was the dimmer board and also the older LED bulbs that we were having an issue dimming them down below a certain percentage. With this new dimmer and new LED bulbs, they're gonna perform much, much better. It'll all be linked into there. I believe with the new bulbs, we'll be able to make them flood, spot, however, full control down to 2%.
Okay. And we have room for growth too in there? Was there?
There is room to grow. Yes. They have plenty of DMX channels. That was included in the last quote. We had talked to him last. We had a meeting in my room on the phone, and he is aware that we need the potential for growth down the road. It's there.
And just to verify, Peter's okay with the bid and everything else?
Yes.
Cool. I got my questions answered.
Just so everybody knows, the status of our dimmer rack currently, it's as old as the building, so we're looking at 33 years. The dimmers have slowly started to deteriorate. They're the old solid state type. They just, over time, just simply lose the ability to work. And we're pretty much at that state. When our board had gone 2 years ago, we made this a higher priority issue. We knew there were other things that were at the auditorium that needed to be done. But when the board went, this became the definite spotlighted issue that we had to solve next. Sound was already in the works, so the lighting is definitely the next thing.
And then Daryl, I'm sorry, said I had all my questions answered, but what's the turnaround time for install?
That was installed.
Yeah.
Should we push this through, they could be there as possibly as early as January and or February. And he expects it to take about 5 to 7 days to complete the work.
So we'll approve it in November. The purchase order will go in November. And we'll receive it in January / February.
According to Sam, yes, he said.
In time for the spring season.
That's the hope.
Okay.
Which is,
That's
Well,
all.
we have one production that's right at the very beginning of February. It's our spring showstoppers. It's a fundraiser that the choir does. Big production type numbers,
Yeah.
choral type stuff. It doesn't need a lot of bells and whistles, but if they have it installed at that point, great. We just need a basic lighting scheme to get things lit. We're at that point. We're just having basic is even
so we've
fine.
been renting equipment in case we don't.
Exactly. And then the next really big production would be middle of April. That'll give some people time to learn the new bells and whistles that we actually have with this system and make sure we can operate it properly.
So the key, Terry, is once we approve this in November, that the purchase order is submitted ideally the next day.
That would be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Don't hold your breath.
I'd like to. I think you guys know that we've been waiting for this for a while, but
Yes, you
again,
have.
a big thanks to Daryl for keeping this process moving. And I know I've talked to some of you individually. Thank you for your continued support. We're not asking for something that isn't needed here.
No.
This is an absolute must. as soon
It was
as
needed
possible.
years ago. And it was approved years ago. So I'm happy that we're finally.
It
getting
was.
done.
Yep.
Thanks, Mr. Toth.
Thank you
You're all
so
right.
much.
Thank you for coming. All right, next item is North Campus softball fence / pole removal. We got a quote from American Fence for $12,300, a proposal from the service team, $14,200. I guess those were the only two. Yeah. It's open for discussion. Daryl?
This was brought to me by the North Athletic Director and their softball coach. Their current outfield fence and foul poles are at 250 feet. They're pretty deep. And they would like to move that fence into 200 feet to be like the south softball outfield fence. Now, looking at this quote, there is a mistake on American Fence. That, and it's only on what we're looking at here. On their actual quote is actually $11,800. It's not $12,300. But that's what it would be for. It would be to move, it would be to, the current fence would be staying at where it is because it goes across the top of the bank. It now become a safety feature. And then we would install the new fence at 200 feet should we move forward with it. And bring the existing foul poles in rather than purchase new ones.
All right, so then you're saying that the total price is 11?
11,800 would be the quote from American Fence.
So how come those numbers don't? So the 10,000,
10,8 is for the fence itself and all that, and the additional $1,000. There's another quote that would be for removing the foul poles that we currently
Okay.
have, bringing them in and reinstalling them at 200 feet.
okay. So they just threw in an extra $100, is that it?
What would you say?
10,7 to 10,8?
What did we do the math wrong again?
I don't know, total 10,007, deposit 3,700, balance 7.
Oh, I didn't catch
And then
that.
number 2 is total 10,008. 3,800, is there a difference between 1 and 2?
I will straighten that out because that appears to be a,
I think one's black and one's.
oh,
without.
yes, I'm sorry. One is with the total for 10,800 would be with black fencing. And then
Okay,
the-
and we're doing what then?
that's what we would prefer.
The black, the
Yes.
coating?
Yes,
Okay,
And then the 12,300 is the whole total. Yeah,
and that's what I was telling you
10,8.
before.
We're
Keith.
doing number 2.
It's actually 11,800. There was, the
11,000.
quote that you see on this paper is off by $500.
Okay, we're in baseball, so you're throwing curveballs, no problem. All right. Any questions? PIAA is the minimum 200 feet.
Yeah, no. I think it is 200 feet, 180, 200.
I find it interesting that my school district chose north softball field to be 250 feet.
is
There aren't
that a
many
reg-
girls that are gonna hit a ball over a 250-foot fence.
Is that a regular baseball field length
Standard is 200 feet.
for both fields?
So most school districts have a softball field at 200 feet from home
Right.
plate defense.
What's the standard for boys?
I don't know.
Down here, we're like 300, 280.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot more.
So we just,
And there's
It's just
maximums and
okay.
minimums.
Okay, next agenda item. Lehman baseball perimeter drain, Jason Possinger for 18,200. AAF landscaping for 18,245.21. Those are on top of one another. Rutledge was unresponsive. Daryl,
This would be on the Lehman baseball field was saturated with water, and I don't know if you guys remember. Last year in-house, we went in and ran a lateral off the home plate side out to daylight into the woods. Knowing when we did it, it wasn't a fix-all, it was a help. This is a process. This would be another part of that process to help dry that field with a perimeter drain. But because of the amount of material, the amount of digging and the equipment needed, this was something we quoted out. Possinger looked at it, obviously, AAF looked at it. I was there with Rutledge multiple times. Reached out to him multiple times, and DJ never, I still never received for it. So this would be a this would be run also, if you're familiar with the site. This would run from the water fountain that's there off the third base, down around the back side of the home plate, all the way out the first baseline and all the way out to daylight. Up the other end. Pipe,
down the right field foul line.
yes.
So that's how the grade goes.
Mhm.
Do we have a water line leak from that water tower to that,
That was one of the first things we checked on. I had Prosser giving me flows, gallon readings. This is a long time ago for that. And there was nothing off from our daily use, and I completely shut the water fountain off up at the curb. So I would think not.
okay,
And it's currently with, obviously in this drought, we can actually walk on the field right now, but this is highly unusual.
right. Well,
Are these projects in our plan, or are these just on demand as far as a need right now?
This would be a need. This is not, I had planned for. These things come up. It's repairs. We've gone a baseball season where Lehman kids could not use their baseball field. And you know what? March and April are like in Bushkill.
mud,
Yeah, it's difficult to begin with.
We've had to move it
So-
south somewhere, yeah. Right.
mud. Any other discussion? Next item is summer 2025 flooring proposed projects. Permission to go out to bid, JM Hill flooring. Asbestos abatement projected cost 94,875. 57,725 after a environmental grant of 37,150. Resica remaining VCT replacement, the projected cost is going to be around 150,000. JTL do the remaining VCT replacement at a projected cost of around 600,000. Any Daryl, is that you or is that
I'm here, Wayne. Can you hear me?
See there?
I'm here. You hear me? I'm here. Hello? You gotta unmute me.
Okay.
Rob, you're up.
All right, you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, I apologize for not being there. I've been under the weather all week and I was gonna try to make it because, you know, I love seeing you all, but unfortunately I'm still home. So just to go through the list here, JM Hill Flooring Asbestos Abatement Project, that was an environmental grant that I saw and with Angela's help, applied for that and we secured $37,150. That's removing the flooring that is the old 6x6 tile with asbestos in it and in the tile and the mastic in the basement of JM Hill. Right now, it is sealed where we follow guidelines. It's sealed. We don't sand it or anything during the summer. We just do a light screening and apply 3 coats of wax. So there's nothing dangerous about it now. But with this grant out there, I figured it would be a great time to help us remove the rest of that flooring that's been needed. So, and then the other 2 projects, Resica and JTL, those are on the capital improvement list slated for this coming summer. 6 years ago, when we started doing the flooring projects, the first 2 buildings we did was Resica and JTL, and they opted just to remove carpeting and replace with LVT. They didn't opt to remove the VCT tile flooring. So if you walk through JM Hill, JTL or Resica, you'll see that the cafeteria is still VCT. You'll see the hallways at JTL are still VCT along with the science rooms. They have since been, you know, damaged and have to be repaired and everything. So they don't really look great and they're hard to clean, hard to upkeep. And the whole point of taking out the VCT was to not have to strip and wax and put all that moisture into the air. If you remember years ago when we started this project. So I slated for this summer to return back to Resica and JTL and move the rest of the VCT tile and replace it with LVT. So I'm looking for permission to go out to bid on these 3 projects.
okay, and they'll be part of the bid for budget for the upcoming year.
Yes.
Any questions?
With the JM Hill flooring, what did we do as a replacement when we pulled that asbestos tile?
What are we going to do? We're putting LVT tile down.
Okay,
Yeah. So we're going with the same product that we've been using in all the buildings. It's 7 rooms. There's 1 room on the first floor I think I said the basement, there's one room, which is Jackie Leonard's room on the first floor. And then there's, the rest of the rooms are downstairs in the basement.
Okey-doke. Thank you.
And just to clear, this project estimated cost, that also involves the abatement, the air quality checks, all the inspections, everything is all in this cost. And all these costs, so it's a whole package, no surprises.
Anyone else?
Hmm.
Next item, E. CHA invoices. Number one, Resca HVAC replacement is for $1,827.70. Number two, High School North Lehman Intermediate rooftop equipment invoice for $2,040.85. Middle Smithfield Elementary and ESE flooring invoice for $6,785.20. The high school South Fieldhouse Stadium invoice for $1,000. Okay, thank you. $1,918.08. Josh?
Good evening. So I'll just give a quick update on the projects associated with those. What was the first one again, Wayne?
Resca HVAC.
Okay, so for Resica and Lehman, which was the rooftop units, High School North. Some items, the training, equipment. Also for Lehman and High School North. Some ongoing with some of the existing curbs, which is a structural piece that's above the roof elevation. Those were existing curbs that were reused as part of this project. I know the Train and their contractor have been installing some channels and some ways of relieving water that might happen to find its way around that curb. So those items are still ongoing at this point, but the equipment itself is mostly complete and operational. Daryl, I know that you did say that there was, I think, a motor at Resica that was in need of replacement as part of that Train equipment. Otherwise, it's just the final commissioning and programming related to those air handlers.
And it was
The next one
Middle
was.
Smithfield ESC flooring.
Okay, so these invoices were from, looks like the month of September. That was just final invoicing, and ESE. So that was just the final balance due for the flooring projects.
Is the Resca HVAC, was that final payment or is that still ongoing?
No, that is not final payment for us or for Train.
Okay,
It's not final payment actually for either at this point until everything is 100% complete.
okay, so number two with the High School North, the unit above the coach's office, is that still an issue with roof leaking?
I have not heard of any issues at that location. Daryl,
Well, you
correct me if
haven't
I'm wrong.
because we've been in a drought, but
Well,
that's a good thing. So there hasn't been any episode. I just thought I'd ask. Okay.
Okay, next one was South Fieldhouse. I know that Daryl has been struggling trying to keep that existing equipment going, hobbling along. Scranton Electric is the contractor. They do have some equipment that's been released from the manufacturing location. They are still awaiting the hot water equipment and the circulation pumps. Those are slated to be delivered by the end of November. So all equipment, all materials should be in place on site here by the end of November with installation still happening. So if there is a more urgent need up until that point to repair or replace what's there, we can maybe talk to them about getting replacement parts. I know that obviously the preference would be for everything to be complete. Simply a matter of lead time. We're still struggling with a lot of vendors with getting equipment in a timely manner. So I can talk to Daryl and follow up if there's anything super urgent that is affecting use of the building, use of showers or whatever. We can maybe talk to that contractor about making a repair in the meantime.
Well, I know at the stadium, there is an issue with hot water, because many parents have made that concern known to me, that our showers sometimes don't have hot water. I understand it's on a temporary basis, but I know it's frustrating that the wrestling team, they can't shower there. That's what I've been told, but now I understand it's a temporary thing, but, I mean, my concern is this was bid back in June, and we accepted it back in June. How, if the contractor knew, if they bid on it, why did it take almost 6 months, 5 months to get this equipment?
Well, it was bid in June, but the completion date was never for the end of summer. It was always extending into the fall and early winter. So unfortunately, you know, the contractors are, I hate to say it, but almost at the mercy of these manufacturing facilities, which continue to give them a completion date, a delivery date that just gets backed up and backed up. This is what we're seeing with the generator up north as well. You know, it's just unfortunately, we thought the end of COVID was going to take care of a lot of these supply chain type issues, but in some cases, it's still just extending longer and longer. So I know that the contractor, they're doing everything they can to get the equipment as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, it's just a matter of scarcity of certain parts and pieces that are needed, whether it's electric components or mechanical components for these types of equipment. They're trying as quick as they can.
Well, it's winter in the Poconos, so they know that. Maybe not where they are, but it's winter here now. It's in the 30s at night. And then the last one was North Storm Pipe Replacement.
Storm pipe replacement, so Rutledge Excavating, I know Daryl and I, every time we talk about these guys, we just commend them on their professionalism, their work, it's been really good. As they found last summer with that first stretch, there were quite a few unforeseen pipe conditions that needed to be repaired or replaced. I will have a final accounting, final change order of that work for next month. The pipe is installed, the inlet boxes are installed. All they need to do at this point is do the final restoration of paving in any places that were within parking lot areas. So that work within the next few weeks, I would say for sure, once they can get that paving scheduled, will be complete.
Do we document anything about what was done up there? Is anything documented, pictures, any kind of, I mean, because obviously this was a concern when they built the building. And when I was on the board 3 terms ago in the early, 2005, right, Larry? I went up there with a tape measure and a ruler and dug my ruler in to find out that it was not properly dug right and not properly paved, and there was sinkholes back then. Mm-hmm. I mean, this has been an ongoing issue. We obviously knew we got kind of, how do I put it? We've got poor service with our roof, which we discovered. I mean, I just think it's amazing that we have to spend all this money. I know it's 20 years later, but I mean, it never worked from day one. And there is no statute of limitations for a school district. Can we, I mean, I don't know, it's a legal question. Can we look to get reimbursement from someone on all that?
Yes, Lyman and Ash is working on this. Yeah, they've been communicating with Leeward Constructions.
Oh, so we are communicating?
Since 2018. So Rutledge is sharing photos with you.
Yes.
And you've been sharing them with Daryl.
He'll get a final report at the end. I've been sending what I have done, but I know that Rutledge also has a.
I mean, because there's a lot of there's mix and match parts they put on, and they made up some connections and said, oh, well.
Yes.
And we didn't know it was a made-up connection because there was dirt and rock put over top of it.
That's right. And just, because of the sheer cost to correct everything at once, that's why we're kind of chipping away at this year by year, because, as you can tell, it's another almost $300,000 contract this year for just a portion of the campus.
Right.
So, it certainly would be within the multi-millions of dollars if we're attacking all stormwater, all paving at the same time. So I'm sure your legal counsel can provide some more guidance with
All right,
what the options are.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
sure is. Any other questions? So we're just basically waiting for the blacktop.
Yes.
Okay, motion. Next item, motion to choose meeting date and time starting in December 2024. We're gonna shoot for December 4th, 2024 at 5:30.
Is it, we're keeping the same time frame?
Well, I'm assuming all of us are coming back. Is there anyone looking to move on?
Unless you want rid of me, I want to be on again.
I'd like to continue.
So I don't see any of the committees changing.
When is the, when do we?
Oh, actually-
Monday the 2nd.
Huh?
Monday the 2nd is a reorganization meeting.
So it's before the meeting, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so I'm good with the 4th. We'll just, so it'll be the first first Wednesday of the month for 2025, 2026.
you're good with what?
So our meeting will be the first Monday as it has been. We're gonna look to shoot for that for the next year.
No, our meetings are typically Wednesday first.
I'd say, I mean, Wednesday, you know what I meant.
First Wednesday of the month.
I had a senior moment, I'm sorry.
Okay, yes, we are, I think everybody is okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
So yeah, we'd be looking for the first Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
And then the next item is Lyman and Nash. I haven't had any contact with Lyman and Nash, but I will this month with respect to stage 2's completion minus the blacktop. The next item is 7B, current capital projects. The only thing I was gonna ask and question about is when I was reviewing that document today, see if I can pull it up. I noticed that bus cameras was not colored in green, and I'm pretty sure this board spent a million plus on bus cameras, didn't we? A number of months ago.
I don't think they're complete.
What's that?
I don't think the bus cameras are complete.
I
There were some
think what's in
issues.
green is what facilities requested and got approved. Not, do you know what I mean? Like,
So
we're not
then
gonna-
this
We're not
doesn't-
gonna present the
Well,
property facilities isn't gonna
so then why
present
is,
the bus cameras.
alright, so then why is it on the, well, that's an
So
odd one.
what she's saying is the green is our stuff.
Correct.
That would fall under,
Well, anything approved by the board, we don't approve anything, we recommend.
correct.
So I think the board approved bus cameras months ago. I just thought it was odd that it's not highlighted that way. It's not critical, guys, I'm just
We
mentioning.
can highlight it.
That's all. Any old business? Items for discussion, we just did North Stormwater. Josh, anything on the natatorium leak at Lehman?
Yes, Anthony, if you could maybe just share on the screen unless it's frozen, because I'm still frozen up there. So if you could hit that attachment I sent, north wall panels. So I received pricing from Munn Roofing to complete the scope of work that we had talked about last time, which includes essentially disassembling that exterior wall back to the concrete masonry block, which is the interior wall at the natatorium. We feel that's necessary to make sure that a rebuilt wall has the proper drainage, has the proper vapor barrier in the right location, and will allow any condensation, if it would happen in the future, to weep out of the wall system. The price that Munn provided to complete that scope of work certainly was higher than I was anticipating. if you can read that quote there, it's quoted at $166,000. That is to rebuild that wall from interior wall out. There's also a separate proposal from a spray insulation company to choke off the above ceiling space. That was about $4,000, if I believe. Just shy, $3,988. Okay, so I've got no issue with that. That looks fine. My question to the board is, given the scope and the extent of work that MUN is quoting, are you comfortable with a change order situation, or is this something that we could quickly put out to competitively bid to make sure that the board, the district, is getting truly the best number to do this work? If it were $30,000, $40,000 issue, I'd be more inclined to say, let's do this as a change order. Given this amount of money, I wanted to review with the board if you feel it might be worth going out to bid. We've already got the details pulled together. We could quickly get it out to bid. That's not the issue. Just wanted to be upfront with everybody that this would be the potential cost if we simply give MUN the go-ahead to do it as a change order.
If I remember, the conversation you were saying was around, you saw probably around 40 in the change order with MUN. That was back a while ago.
A couple months ago, or even last month,
Yeah.
I was at like maybe half this amount.
Yeah,
After looking at all the details and the product cost of materials, I don't think that this is an outrageous number, but I just want to make sure that we do our due diligence and make sure that the district is getting truly the best value. So that's the purpose of the discussion for tonight.
I know we've discussed this before, but I just want to refresh my memory. This is the wall that's weeping, that has been weeping for years.
Correct.
Probably since day one.
So it's a defect of the original building that we're finally addressing 20 years later.
We're not comfortable that the construction, there are so many unknowns with what we can see, unless that entire wall is essentially disassembled from the outside in. If we make certain assumptions that there's a material that is continuous and it's not continuous, if there's a breach in it, if it's for whatever reason not installed properly from the original installation, we're taking a lot of risk on with essentially covering that up, concealing it, and
You're just
letting it
trapping in what you have
be a
there.
problem in the future. So I know this issue, I mean, we've been talking about this every month for months, but I just wanted to let you know, I mean, this has not been an easy wall to try to solve, and that's really what has taken this long. And as you can see, the scope of it is growing and growing to the point where this is almost its own mini project. And we just want to make sure that we have enough exposed and open that when we rebuild the wall, we're comfortable that we have the components in the right place, that we're not going to be calling everybody back for the next 15 years, hey, the ceiling's dripping again, what the hell's going on? So we just want to make sure that we can attack it and get it completely resolved.
So
But
Josh,
it's at a cost.
we have the original construction plans, right?
Yeah.
What is out there right now existing, does it match the construction plans? Was it built according to the plans?
Not entirely, not exactly, and some of the components that are indicated, we're not sure based on the limited amount that we've disassembled, whether that component is continuous throughout the entire wall. That's really the problem. We're trying to make some assumptions, and it's difficult without exposing
So by
more.
removing, we'll find out what we have.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to open it up more just to make sure we don't put it all back together and have to do this again, basically?
Well, the proposal is actually not just to open up more pieces, but the entire run,
Yeah,
so that it's put back together properly.
Which is the exterior wall with the open hole now where we were passing material in and out?
No,
No, this is the back, this is the back wall.
The back wall,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, we
So
need-
I have no issue with MUN as a contractor with their quality or anything. Again, I just wanted to make sure that before approving a scope to this extent, that if it needs to go out to bid, if we think it should go out to bid, so be it.
But you're saying in your review of the proposal that they're giving us, what they're proposing financially is not that out of the ordinary as far as price. I mean, in reality, do you think we'll get something cheaper? I mean,
By bidding it out?
by bidding it out, I mean, and question is, even if we did, do we have to bid it out at this point, this price? Do we have to go, even though
I
it's.
don't know that, legally, I don't know the answer.
But it's,
We can find out, but I believe
It's,
so.
the only thing I will add to that is the work was part and parcel of what the original scope of work had been. It was essentially some of the unforeseen, unknown existing conditions that now require us to go back and redo the work that had already been documented for MUN. So from that perspective, it's not as if we're asking them to do a scope of work that was not related to what their contract was for.
how much we spent on this project already to date?
What's that?
Their original contract amount?
Yeah.
I don't have that handy.
Rough idea.
Amy, unless it's part of the capital summary?
I thought that was the 45 was what was gonna fix this part, I thought.
Okay. My only concern is that I wouldn't want to accept a bid from somebody else to come in and pick up where MUN is in the middle of doing something and switching contractors, I think.
So currently, the
how would
wall
that
is still,
work?
the wall is still together. We did very small investigation areas, just small pieces, but the wall itself is still intact. So whatever contractor would be awarded this, they're coming to essentially disassemble a completed structure at this point. So it's not as if,
Now, this scope of work, is that what you guys came up with, or is that what MUN
this is what we came
So
up
you
with
came up
for
with,
them
presented it to MUN, and then, okay.
for them to price as a
Yeah.
change order, correct?
Yeah, like I was saying, I just don't, I wouldn't want to put it on, like MUN came up with the scope of work, you approved it, and then we put it out to bid
No,
for
we
somebody else.
we
and then-
prepared all the technical details and they did
This
their
is what they
takeoffs.
presented back.
Right.
But is it open right now?
It
Not
is
yet.
not open, no.
Not yet,
So it doesn't matter who the contractor is at this point?
correct.
That's right.
And we did give them the okay, like to move forward with a
We did.
proposal for, because we would
Yeah.
make a change order.
Yeah, but it was a change order.
But we didn't
the
expect
change
it
order
to
is
be
not-
this
yeah.
much.
Right. We have
Part of
not
the
given
size
them
of
the
change order.
go-ahead to start this work until I reviewed it with the
Right.
board.
I mean, and this project, can this be done in the wintertime? This can be done this time of year?
Yeah.
And it can be done during school year without interfering with our kids and the school process?
What will interfere, and I've already talked to that installation contractor to come in after hours or second shift, would be to get above the corridor ceiling. So they're gonna have to take out the first row of ceiling tiles against the wall in order to spray from underneath. That's really the most disruptive part from being inside the building. The rest of the work is gonna be above the roof elevation.
So then the question is, how do you want to move forward?
Yeah.
Well, if we think we have to go out, if we have to legally go out to bid,
Then we go out to bid.
huh?
Then we do it, yeah, it's not a question.
Even though but it's in the middle of the project though. It's not like we're creating a project.
But it's not, this part of the project has not been started yet,
No.
so,
We can theoretically make a motion to approve the C of O with MUN pending approval legally.
Finance.
And if we have to go to bidding,
bid, then we'll move forward.
then you must have bid specs up, ready to go.
We've been pouring over these details for months, so we can get those out to
So-
bid.
We can get it out to bid right away, so,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, that makes sense, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Well, then that would be the motion that we'll make
Well,
later
this has to go,
on.
right, this has to go to finance and go on to the board, the regular board room anyway. The board meeting on next month, later this month.
Well, we'll build a consensus at finance and by then, board meeting, we'll
Know whether or not.
know what's going down. All right, items for
So
Oh, sorry.
let's do this, because I know that the whole, right, from the HVAC project was also on the agenda, which the details, again, we've got pulled together, which would be a change order similar to what we're talking about now. We can group both together. I think there'd be some savings if we could group both together instead of a change order or separate contracts for each. Just a thought,
Makes sense.
throw it out there. It'd be the same, it would be the same metal panel system. Because again, what we wanted to do was make sure that whatever we put back for that access is easily disassembled for future access. That's the whole point of the details we've put together, so we can include that and the back wall together in a bid project to go out as soon as possible.
That makes sense.
Okay.
And that's an insulated, whatever system you have, it's an insulated system.
It is, it is.
Okay. So the next item is, there's really nothing to talk about regarding the sprinkler system. The next, number 4, is the boilers for the football stadium. I think we touched on that. Basically, the hot water heater was the focus. I guess the boilers, as far as Grand Electric is concerned, is still waiting for.
It's the heater
Heater.
and the circulation pumps that are still due by the end of November.
So when are the boilers being done then?
They'll be done concurrently with the heater install.
Okay.
They still won't take showers, right? They still won't be able to take showers.
Well, they're not gonna take cold showers. I guess that's what's happening.
Are they taking cold showers?
I'm gonna dive into that a little more, Keith, and.
All right, 'cause-
get with
'cause
you. I
it-
spoke to Randy about it, and he wasn't sure, so before, I don't think they are. I think there were times when the water heater was down, but the fact that we're in there every day, morning and then in the late afternoon, I don't know.
Okay.
So,
Josh, I'm sorry, what's the proposed month for them to, what are we looking at, the end of the month? December?
December.
And how long does that take? Very quick then? It's not that long of a project.
Couple of days?
4 weeks.
4 weeks? For a boiler?
It's boilers, it's circulation pumps, it's other piping, and there's new flue work related to exhaust for the,
Oh, that's what they're doing now.
Well, I have a question. If it's a boiler and a hot water system and the boiler system is in, why can't they start that now? Than waiting for 4 weeks for a part that might not come in yet? At least, you don't need a separate hot water heater doesn't have to be attached, it's not being attached to the boiler, is it?
No.
So why are we holding off on the boiler?
are the boilers to the point there where we're not?
the boilers are working. We have, the only issue I've been having.
Is,
running
oh, so the hot water is not
is
coming off the
water
boilers?
heater, which is separate.
So the hot water itself, I know the hot water heater too, okay. It's, but my whole point is if the whole project is gonna take 4 weeks, and now we're saying the hot water heater is gonna take 4 weeks to get here, by the time they get to the point where they'll need the hot water heaters, it will be 4 weeks.
If, once they get a delivery or confirmation of delivery, we can get them in as quickly as possible to start whatever other work is related to just the heating.
Okay.
Like I said, there are circulation.
I mean, this is the
pumps.
time of season we need that system going.
Mr. Carter, I hear you. I know.
We had all summer. We bid on it. This was bid back in June, right?
The north generator?
No, we're still on,
boilers.
we're still on the boilers.
They did start on Tuesday down there, keep running intakes, air intakes.
Oh, they are putting stuff in already?
They were there Tuesday and went in today, so.
Okay.
So they're doing prep work.
It's just if it's gonna take 4 weeks, to do the whole project anyway, and the boiler, okay, that's what we have to do, It's just, I just think it's great that we knew this was a project that we had to finish, and now we have a wrestling team in there. And if there's no hot water, that means really technically they don't have hot water in the concession stand either, or the bathrooms, so you can't wash your hands in wintertime, and, well, it's a sanitary thing, we have to get it going, so. Okay. Moving on, generator.
Next item is the north generator. I guess Josh?
So for the north generator, we've been in contact with Sharp Energy to coordinate the propane tank delivery and installation. There's a question that Mr. Bard is currently pursuing with Sharp, whether the tank will be leased or purchased. I think the fuel pricing varies depending on whether it's a purchase or a lease. So that is still being worked out, but the components themselves are ready for delivery. Albarell Electric is the contractor. They had their excavator with them last week to help lay out the pad and the underground piping. So that work can get started in just a few short weeks. And I'll follow up with Peter to understand the contract that is with the district and Sharp on how that's going to take place.
So did we approve that as a lease or ownership?
I don't know. Mr. Bard's going to make that determination once Sharp gives him, I guess there's a fuel rate difference between.
What was in the price? What was in with the price they
I
quoted?
think we benefit by owning it.
You do.
Sharp provided two
Quotes.
quote scenarios, whether it was a lease or purchase. I just need to confirm with Peter which is the preferred option.
What did we approve? I need to see.
1,000 gallons.
Right.
So buy the tank and be done with it.
Yeah,
Just buy it, yeah.
yeah.
I know with propane, for my generator at my house, that option to buy that tank saves me the option of being able to buy my propane anywhere
Yeah,
at the best price.
yeah.
You're getting, buy the propane from Mott, it's 10 cents a gallon cheaper.
So all right, so maybe Darryl, will you check with Peter and say that we would prefer to buy it and just see what we need to do to move ahead?
Yep.
So that if we have to change our motion, then I guess that's why we're asking that question.
Or I should say, I'll let Peter know that the board would like to purchase the tank.
Yeah,
Yeah, according to the minutes from that, there was no motion
And then we
about
can purchase
leasing
the
or
propane
purchasing.
any place we want.
Well, it's definitely a savings if you own
an
it.
oversight, that's,
And Mr. Propane out there in the public, he
that's right.
agrees.
He
So,
knows all about it.
I'm sorry.
Okay, next item. We go right to public participation, Mr. Dunn.
I don't know, I'm just fed up with the whole thing here, you know? Like, we just never do nothing right, and we're always behind on everything. Something's gotta change.
So what's the issue?
Well, the day-to-day operation, you know, I mean, you know, when we remodel something, it doesn't turn out the way it should be, and then it's a mess for months and months, and then we pay more money to resolve those issues and whatever. There's gotta be some sort of a system here where somebody's held accountable. You know, this nonsense, you know, I mean, it needs to stop, you know? We get more work, then we need to have the lawyers go on and get our money back and hire somebody to do it right. I'm just tired of taking my tax money and throwing it right out the door.
Well, we're working on that.
Unfortunately,
It's gotta change.
a lot of the projects you're talking about are older than all of us, our time here.
Yeah, it's been going on forever, it ain't getting any better.
Sure it is, it's definitely getting better.
Okay,
One day our roofs will be fine and our parking lots will be fine too.
yeah.
Trust me.
Anyone else?
They weren't done right in the first place, they're never gonna be.
Well, that's what we're finding out.
What's the problem? We weren't here then.
That's why Lyman and Nash is on board. And you know that. So, any other? Well, I'm glad you bended.
That's why we're here.
All right, let's go to motion. Motion to move forward with the JTL auditorium lighting upgrades with Entertainment Services Group.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to move forward with American Fence Company for the 11,800, is that correct, Darrell?
Correct.
So moved.
Second, do we have a second? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to do the Lehman baseball perimeter drain with Jason Possinger for the 18,200.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to go out to bid for the summer 2025 proposed flooring projects at JM Hill, Resca, and JTL for the VCT flooring.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to recommend payment of the CHA invoices number 1 through 5.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to make to approve the application for payment for the storm pipe replacement with Rutledge Excavating for $136,012.82.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Does it mean have to have a motion?
No.
No, right?
So I guess we have a motion to adjourn.
Wait, do we have to make the motion for the,
The
we make
December,
a
the
motion
December.
for-
No, the
moving
motion for
forward.
the natatorium link,
and
right?
also to advise Peter to go with our endorsement of the,
Yeah.
purchase.
Motion to recommend that we accept Munn Roofing's change order for the additional work pending Peter's legal review. If we're forced to do a bid process for the continued repair of the natatorium leak.
So moved.
Second, whatever.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I guess there's a motion to adjourn.
No, we
What
need
did I
to, a motion to advise our CFO to make the recommendation that we purchase our propane tank for the generator up north.
Motion to recommend that Peter Bard, the CFO, review the board approval for the north generator propane tank
To purchase.
for the purchase of, as opposed to leasing.
So moved.
Second.
Is that,
Discussion, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay, finally, a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.